What's going on, guys? John Alder here from Codemy.com, and in this video, we're going to look at Numpy for machine learning. All right, guys, like I said, in this video, we're going to start to look at Numpy for machine learning. But before we get started, if you like this video, want to see more like it, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out Codemy.com, where I have dozens of courses with thousands of videos that teach you to code. Use coupon code YouTube50 to get 50% off memberships on my courses, videos, and books. One-time fee, which is insanely cheap. Okay, like I said, in this video, we're going to start to look at NumPy, and we're going to do a series of videos on NumPy here because NumPy is fundamental to machine learning, data science, all that good stuff. And a lot of times people kind of just gloss over it. You kind of think you know how to use it. You use it for a few things, but you don't really know what you're doing with it or whatever. If you want to get into machine learning or data science or anything like that, it's a really good idea to have a solid understanding of NumPy, and that's what we're going to look at in this series of videos. So in this video, I just want to start to talk about what is NumPy, what do you use it for, start to wrap our brains around exactly what it's all about. So NumPy, very simply, is just a special type of array in Python. And we have arrays, or lists as Python calls them. So let's head over to our code. I'm using the Sublime Text Editor in the Git Bash terminal as always. And as always, you can find a link to the code in the pinned comment section below, as well as a link to the playlist with all the other NumPy videos in this series. So check that out if you haven't so far. So I've got a file, I'm just calling it intro.py. So let's come up here and let's just create a basic Python list. I'm going to call it list1, right? And we know Python list, we can go, something like that. So if we wanted to then print out this list, very simply, we could do that, save this, head over to our terminal. In my C num directory, I just created a directory called num, and let's just run Python intro.py, and it just prints out the Python list. So we already know all about this. If we wanted to print out, an item from this list, we could say the first item, list start at 0, that would print out 1. If we came back over here, ran this guy again, it'd print out 1, right? So that's just your basic Python list. Now, that's cool. That's great for a lot of things, but we can run into some problems using lists for large sets of data. And the reason why is because lists can have lots of different data types in them. So we can have, John Elder, we can have a number 41, we can have another list, we can have Booleans, true, false, whatever. So if we print this guy, list 2, we know what's going to happen here. Come back over here. We've got strings, we've got numbers, we've got other lists, we've got Booleans. And now this is really cool. A lot of programming languages won't allow you to do this in an array, but Python does with lists. And that's great. But it's a problem when you start using massive amounts of data, and machine learning is all about using massive amounts of data. So the reason why it's a problem is because doing it like this is very slow. It's computationally expensive, right? It costs a lot of memory and all that stuff to deal with these lists. Now, when we're dealing with a little bitty list like this, it's no big deal. But when you're dealing with lists with millions of records or billions of records, terabytes of records, it becomes a lot harder to do. It becomes a lot slower, takes a lot more time, takes a lot more computational juju and all of that stuff. So instead of using a list for data science and machine learning, we use something called a Numpy array. And a Numpy array is just a list, but it's different, right? It's more powerful. It has cooler things. So we can come over here and we can import NumPy. So let's go import NumPy. And the convention is to import it as NP. And you'll see why in just a second. Now, this does not come with Python. We need to install it. So let's head back over to our terminal. And let's go pip install NumPy. And I've already got it. So it's saying, hey, you've already got it, but it will install on your computer. And that's all there is to it. You're good to go. So now let's head back over here. And let me just kind of comment out that stuff here. And NumPy, if you haven't figured it out yet, stands for numeric Python, right? We're creating NumPy arrays, which are just like lists, only they're different. A couple of things to keep in mind. Anything in a NumPy array has to be of the same data type, right? So they have to be all numbers, or they have to be all Booleans, or they have to be all whatever. They all have to be the same data type, which is usually okay because in machine learning, you're often dealing with numbers, right? So the data type of a NumPy is an NDArray, and that stands for n-dimensional array. So, lists can have multi-dimensions, so can NumPy arrays. So you might have 1 dimension, you might have 2 dimensions, you might have 3 dimensions, you might have 100 dimensions, you have n dimensions. Like in math, when you don't know how many, you use n. So n-dimensional arrays, that's a NumPy array. So let's just go ahead and create one of these real quick. Let's go, I'm just going to call it NP1, short for NumPy1, I guess. And we can set this equal to a np.array. And then inside of here, we can create our NumPy array. Now notice this NP, that's because we imported this as NP. So we have to sort of slap an NP in front of everything we want to create. So we want to create a NumPy array. This is how we do it. Now inside of here, lots of different ways you can do this. We can go, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Remember, all arrays, whether NumPy or list or whatever, they always start at 0. So this is the 0th item. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 10 items in here. So if we want to print this out, see what it looks like, NP1, we can head back over here, run this guy again, and we can see it looks just like a regular Python list. So don't get weird about NumPy arrays. They're really just basically lists, only they're more powerful. Now, NumPy itself doesn't just have arrays. It has a whole sort of suite of math functions that you can do stuff to those arrays, as well as other types of functions. So let's spend the rest of this video just kind of familiarizing ourselves with some very basic sort of functions and things that come with NumPy. So first of all, we can see the shape of our array. So we can call np1.shape, right? And this will tell us basically the number of elements in our array. Think of it as the len function in Python, sort of, right? So if we do this, print this guy real quick, do that, come back over here, we see there's 10 items in this array, right? And we know that's true. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? 10 items. So that's always interesting to be able to do. So that's cool. So there's lots of different ways you can create NumPy arrays. We can use the Arange function if we don't want to, explicitly do something like this. We could go np.arange and we could say 10, right? So here, if we print this guy, np2, save this, run it, we get the same thing. We get a NumPy array with 10 items in it, just from 0 to 9. And that's cool. Well, this is from 0 to 9, 0, 1, 2, 3. We can tell this to step. Instead of doing it every 1, like 0, 1, 2, 3, we could say, hey, do it every 2. So 2, 4, 6, or every 3, 3, 6, 9, whatever we want. So we could just sort of modify this a little bit. Now let's say range here. And here, let's say step. So we could go np3 equals an np.arange. We could say from 0 to 10, but step 2, right? So here, if we want to print this guy, we can do that. Head back over here, run this guy again. And here we see we've created a NumPy array with steps of 2. So 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, right? So that's helpful. We can create an array of zeros, right? So let's go np4 equals np.zeros. Use the zeros function. And again, let's say we want 10 items, right? So we can print this guy, np4. Save this, head back over here, run this guy again. So now you see we have 10 zeros, and they're actually 0 point. So it's not strictly an integer, it's 0 point. This is not a separating factor. It's not like a comma. Think of these as 0.0, basically, right? So that's cool. We're dealing with one-dimensional arrays here, right? You could do multi-dimensional arrays just as easily, and NumPy is great at multi-dimensional. So let's go multi-dimensional zeros, right? Stick with the 0 theme here. So we go np.zeros and use double parentheses here. So we start out, how many dimensions do we want? Let's say 2 dimensions. And how many items in each dimension? Let's say 10, right? Stick with the 10. And so let's print out this guy. Save this, run it. You can see here we have 2 dimensions, right? Here's the first one. There's 10 zeros in it. Here's the second one, 10 zeros in it. You can see they're separated just by their brackets, right? Pretty cool, pretty easy. Say we don't want to use zeros, right? We can use the full function. So let's go np6 equals np.full, right? So let's say we want 10 items. And what do we want them to be? Well, we don't want them to be zeros. Let's have them be 6s, right? So, or whatever, right? So we can print np6, save this guy, run it. And you can see now we have an array of 6s, right? Very cool. We could do multi-dimensional full. So let's go np7 equals np.full. And let's say we want 2 dimensions with 10 elements in each dimension. And again, let's say we want to fill it with 6s, right? So let's print NP7. Save this guy, head back over here, run it again. And here we have 2 dimensions of 6s, right? There's the first one, there's the second one. So just a few functions to play around with, just to sort of familiarize ourselves with NumPy. We can actually convert Python lists to NumPy. So let's create a list, I don't know, my list. Set that equal to a Python list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. Now, if we wanted to convert that into a NumPy array, we could. Let's go np8 equals an np.array. And all we have to do is just pass in my list. NumPy will convert it for us. And if we print out np8, we can see it's going to look just like a regular list, but rest assured that has been converted to a NumPy array. So accessing specific elements out of a NumPy array is exactly the same as accessing any element out of any Python list. So we could print np8, and let's say we want the 0th item. We just pop in a 0 there, and that will print out 1 because that's the 0th item. If we save this and run it, we see sure enough, it just prints out 1. So this is just a very brief introduction to NumPy. I don't want to overwhelm you in this first video. There's all kinds of cool things you could do with NumPy, specifically for machine learning, and we're going to start to learn all about all of those things in the coming videos in this playlist. So if you guys are interested in this, let me know. I'll continue on. And my goal is to start to learn more about NumPy and then sort of progress to other machine learning things like pandas, scikit-learn, all that stuff. And then slowly build up a skill set for you guys for basic machine learning things. And then we can get into algorithms and all that cool stuff. But we need the basics first. We need to understand this, kind of boring stuff. NumPy arrays, this is not exciting. It's a little bit boring, but it could be kind of fun too. So stick with me on this. We'll learn this stuff. We'll knock this stuff out, and then we'll move into more interesting things. But yeah, should be fun. So that's all for this video. If you liked it, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out Codemy.com where you can use coupon code YouTube50 to get 50% off membership. So that's access to all my courses, over 50 courses, thousands of videos, and the PDFs of all my best-selling coding books. Join over 150,000 students learning to code just like you. My name is John Elder from Codemy.com, and I'll see you in the next video.